Landman finally redeemed a regular Taylor Sheridan actor's awful Yellowstone and 1883 characters. Taylor Sheridan's Landman series for Paramount Plus redeemed these two awful characters of an actor who regularly features in his shows. The network of Sheridan's neo-Western shows continues to expand thanks to the writer's deal with Paramount Plus, which contracts Sheridan to write for the network until 2028. Landman debuted in tandem with the Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2 premiere, introducing Bill Bob Thornton as Tommy Norris, a landman and fixer for a Midland, Texas-based oil company called MTEX. John Hamm plays Monty Miller in the Landman cast, the head of MTEX and Tommy's longtime working partner. Landman builds on the gritty, neo-Western themes of Yellowstone and its offshoots. Sheridan produced two series that serve as prequels to the story of John Dutton's, Kevin Costner, family in Paradise Valley, Montana. 1883 and 1923 tell the stories of early Dutton family members who lived and worked on the Dutton Ranch before John was born. Several actors play different characters throughout Sheridan's series. For instance, Dawn Olivieri plays Claire Dutton in 1883 and Sarah Atwood in Yellowstone. Another actor has played repetitively sinister characters in the franchise, but Sheridan fully redeemed him in his Landman story. James Jordan is another actor who plays multiple characters in the Yellowstone franchise. In the flagship, Jordan plays a Montana Livestock Association agent, Steve Hendon. Agent Hendon is blatantly problematic, abusing his power on multiple occasions with fatal consequences. In Yellowstone Season 2, Steve draws his weapon on a teenager while arresting a local man for killing cattle. While the teenager is armed, Case, Luke Grimes, is trying to de-escalate the situation when Hendon shoots and kills the kid. Then in Season 3, Hendon kills two horse thieves in a civilian's horse trailer when tasked with roughing them up. Jordan also appears in 1883 as Cookie, the cook she Brennan, Sam Elliott, hires in Abilene, Kansas for their wagon train. She and Thomas, LaMonica Garrett, lead a wagon train with James Dutton, Tim McGraw, in the Yellowstone prequel, which follows the earliest Dutton family's journey to Montana along the Oregon Trail. Cookie is a brazen 1883 character, even by the prequel standards, and he makes a mistake that gets James' daughter, Elsa, Isabel May, killed. After James makes a plan to keep the party safe from Lakota warriors, the cook changes course, and Elsa gets attacked as a result. Jordan's characters in Yellowstone and 1883 are universally impossible to like. While Jordan's 1883 character has some funny moments that make his character fun to watch at first, he is ultimately a liability to the whole party, ruining any good moments he has upon further reflection of the series. Likewise, Agent Hendon is ignorant and puts others in harm's way due to his impulses. However, Jordan's role as Dale Bradley in Landman redeems his mean streak in Yellowstone. In Landman, Jordan plays an MTEX petroleum engineer. He is Tommy's longtime friend and also his roommate. Dale has the same personality traits and overall demeanor as his Yellowstone counterparts. However, Jordan's Landman character is more lovable and genuinely good. Dale respects Tommy's daughter, Ainsley, Michelle Randolph, and wife, Angela, Allie Larder, when they move in, despite Angela constantly picking on Dale's food choices. When things hit the fan with Tommy's family, Dale politely discusses the matter with his longtime friend, rather than adding to the melodrama. He is overall amiable, which is a complete change in pace from his Yellowstone characters, whom you want to like at first, but ultimately cannot. Sheridan changed just one quality about James Jordan's Landman character to make Dale more likable than his Yellowstone counterparts. While Cookie and Agent Hendon act on their worst impulses in 1883 and Yellowstone, respectively, Dale is less reckless in Landman. Instead of reacting to Tommy's situations with Ainsley and Angela and making a bad time worse, Dale thinks things through. The petroleum engineer's ability to think before speaking and acting is part of his humor, with Dale making up some of Landman's best moments. Plus, Dale's clean record in the patch in Landman season 1 proves he's a careful engineer. Still, Jordan maintains a glimmer of recklessness in Landman, which gives Dale the same gritty and chaotic energy as his Yellowstone characters. In Landman Episode 1, Landman, Tommy chides Dale for heating a can of beans in the microwave. The Landman remarks that his roommate burns up a microwave a week and encourages Dale to pour his beans, which are his breakfast, into a bowl, but the engineer claims they taste different out of the can. Still, despite his roommate antics, Dale is a far cry from Jordan's Yellowstone characters, who were impossible to root for. For fans of Taylor Sheridan's ever-expanding Western universe, the announcement of Landman came with a mixture of excitement and skepticism. After all, Sheridan's world is a vast, dusty tapestry of rugged anti-heroes and complex morality plays, and Landman promised to bring the high-stakes oil industry into the mix. But for one particular actor, a regular in Sheridan's productions, the new series offered something even more significant: redemption. James Jordan, a longtime Sheridan collaborator, has portrayed some of the most grating and downright loathsome characters in Yellowstone and 1883. From his insufferable turn as livestock agent Steve Hendon to his brief, but equally irritating role as Cookie, the rude, ill-fated trail cook in 1883, Jordan has become something of a go-to for playing small, but memorably obnoxious roles in Sheridan's works. But Landman changes everything. The Many Miserable Men of James Jordan. Jordan first made his mark in Yellowstone as Steve Hendon, the arrogant and often incompetent livestock agent who seemed to exist purely to antagonize the Duttons and make bad situations worse. Whether it was his constant butting heads with Rip Wheeler or his general ineptitude, Hendon was the kind of character that made audiences groan every time he appeared on screen. In 1883, his brief role as Cookie, an aggressively unpleasant cook who disrespected the pioneers and met a swift, violent end, cemented his reputation as an actor who thrived in playing characters who made viewers want to throw something at their screens. There's nothing inherently wrong with being typecast, of course. Some actors make entire careers out of playing villains, scoundrels, or comedic punching bags. But Jordan's performances in Yellowstone and 1883 often left fans wondering, would he ever get a chance to play someone with depth? Someone who wasn't either an incompetent lackey or a disposable irritant. Enter Landman, a new frontier for James Jordan. Set against the backdrop of the modern-day Texas oil industry, Landman delves into the high-stakes world of oil barons, land rights, and power struggles. It's a setting that naturally lends itself to morally gray characters, but instead of casting Jordan as another smarmy antagonist, Sheridan has finally given him a role that showcases his range. In Landman, Jordan plays Lonnie Maynard, a seasoned landman, an industry veteran tasked with negotiating land deals, navigating legal loopholes, and maintaining relationships with oil-rich landowners. Unlike his previous characters, Lonnie isn't a fool or an irritant. He's competent, resourceful, and deeply conflicted. He understands the game he's playing, and while he's not above bending the rules, he isn't a villain. What makes Lonnie so compelling is that he feels like a fully realized character rather than a one-note nuisance. He has a past riddled with tough choices, and his motivations are complex. Unlike Steve Hendon, who is often played for comic relief or as a low-stakes antagonist, Lonnie Maynard is someone the audience can root for, or at least sympathize with. He's a man who has spent years in the industry, seeing firsthand how fortunes rise and fall, how greed poisons relationships, and how power can be both a gift and a curse. He's not an outlaw like the Duttons, nor is he a bumbling lackey like Hendon. He's a survivor, and that makes him infinitely more interesting. Why Landman finally redeems Jordan's Sheridan legacy. By giving James Jordan a role with actual narrative weight, Landman does more than just redeem his previous performances. It reframes them. It proves that Jordan was never the problem, the roles were. His ability to make audiences despise his Yellowstone and 1883 characters was never a reflection of weak acting, but rather of his skill in playing those characters exactly as Sheridan intended. But with Lonnie Maynard, Jordan is finally given room to breathe. He isn't a throwaway character designed to irritate or infuriate. He's an essential cog in the machine, a man whose choices have genuine consequences. And in a Sheridan universe where morality is never black and white, that makes him one of the most intriguing figures in Landman.